Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is YourTown TV in beautiful Monterey, and I'm very excited and privileged today to interview my dear friend who I've known for a long time.
Yes.
Who I consider a major rock star in so many different ways.
A legend in my own mind.
You are a legend in a lot of people's minds. Troy Oshann.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. So, how does it feel to sit there and have this opportunity to talk about a little bit more about you, about your life? And I'd like to know maybe where you're from and what influenced you originally to become a musician.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Southern California, and grew up there, and of course got into music when I was young. Got into playing the drums. I went to school and saw the drums and went, wow, I want to do that. And I had friends that in our neighborhood, of course, that all played music, and one of them was a drummer, and he kind of got me into that. And another one was guitar player, piano player, and we did a lot of music over his house. And so I got influenced by a lot of different kinds of stuff. But growing up, my grandparents spent a lot of time with them. My parents were young when they had me, and I remember that turntable that they had, that old turntable, little box, and they had Chubby Checker on there.
Oh.
And so I grew up with the twist, and of course my dad and his old panel truck playing the Beatles, and my mom being a dancer and stuff back then too.
That's interesting.
And so I was brought up with a lot of different stuff. My grandparents, of course, you know, they were country folk, and we watched Hee Haw and Glenn Campbell, and of course listened to Johnny Cash and all that great stuff, and the real country music that came up as a child. And I rode horses and did all that stuff. So that was my first introduction to music back then. And then later on, just got into rock and roll by just friends, you know.
So how old were you when you started drumming? Did your parents get you a drum set?
Yeah, so I really got into music all over the marching band stuff. The drums that came out at lunchtime when I was in junior high school. Really, my buddy played them, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. You know, it was just exciting. I love drums, so.
So who was your earliest influence, would you say, that got you more into rock?
More into rock?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or anyway.
Well, as far as rock goes, definitely Led Zeppelin, you know, every member of that band. And to this day, even when I was a drummer, being a big fan of John Bonham, and then of course moving into loving Robert Plant and Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones and all that great music they did that's so, you know, rooted from the blues, which I'm way into, as you know, and just did the blues festival here. Stu Hayden invited me to play in the Monterey Bay All-Stars, and that was a lot of fun at the fairgrounds. But growing up, just, drums, the marching band thing, and getting into all kinds of music. My buddy that played guitar and piano, Stevie Wonder, had a lot of Stevie Wonder stuff. And so we were kind of versatile as far as that goes, just listening to all kinds of different music.
And your mom was a dancer, you said.
Yeah, I remember going to my first 7th grade dance. I said, Mom, teach me how to dance. I want to go to the dance tonight.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's so cute. So you started dancing with girls then. She taught you how?
She taught me how, yeah.
Oh, it's interesting to hear you talk about how you grew up riding horses. It kind of sounded country.
Yeah.
That's really what your roots were then.
Yeah. It's funny when people say...
I had no idea that about you.
Huh? Yeah. It's funny when I say I grew up in Southern California, and kind of on a farm, because my grandparents were Okies. We had every animal just about that you can imagine.
Wow.
Yeah. And I rode horses in Montana and did all that, and you know, and my grandfather was kind of like Johnny Cash, riding a black horse, all dressed in black, and yeah, I love those old days, you know, and even listened to the radio, and kind of sounds funny now, but you know, back then the radio was everything.
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher, I Got You, Babe, and all, you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't want to date myself or anything, but yeah, I am a little older.
You're young. I think you're one of those forever young.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you just keep getting better. I remember when I first met you, I don't know how many years ago that was, a long time ago, in my art gallery.
Right.
In Big Sur.
Love Big Sur.
Yeah. And I just remember, you know, you're just have an impressive presence, and so kind, and a big presence. And then when I heard you sing, I was like, wow, this is the real deal.
Thank you. That's so nice of you.
I know Jacqueline Cabot refers to you as Professor of Rockstar University. So to me, that means too, because of all the experience, and because you really are the real deal. The way that you have you came up and have evolved in your life, that you have a lot of wisdom to share too.
I guess that comes with getting older, and you know, as you age, I think you appreciate certain things a lot more. You know, when you're young, jump around a lot. I don't jump around as much anymore, but
I don't know. I see you jumping around up there. I think the music just totally lights you up and lights everybody up, and that just is going strong.
Yeah.
And you have a couple of well, I know you have many CDs, but the one that you brought today was Blues at 11. And then you have the Best Of, which is the most recent. The most recent,
yeah. Jamie DiMaria, our drummer, really put a lot of work into that, and brought some tunes that we had laid down before. And you know, it's great working with those guys, man. They're all seasoned guys, and we go and rehearse and just have a great time. And you know, we've been on the back burner a little bit here lately, and we just did the Weston Festival and had a couple of special guests, of course, Tommy Ayers and Michael Chatfield, who are local and great musicians, and we had a great time there. But the original band that they put together and asked me to sing is really a big part of my life. We put a lot of time into it, and you know, we played, of course, a couple of blues festivals in Monterey and all around. We were traveling around and playing down south and up north, and you know, I did that because I thought I would even go further and learn things or do things that I hadn't done as far as musically.
What would you still like to do musically? What's your vision?
You know, I'm doing a lot of acoustic stuff. I've got a couple, the Rod Band, Rock on Demand. We do a bunch of gigs around town, and I have a band called Vibe with Mr. Bob Osik and Mike Holland, and Donnie Dickman's playing with us now, and he's a great keyboard player from LA. You know, just all the facets of all the people I get to play with is really cool because, as I said, as you get older, you just appreciate things more.
Yeah.
You appreciate being here for one, but then
so true.
You know, because we just lose people every day that are dear to us, and
life is precious.
And with social media and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, the studio's warm.
It is.
Just appreciate it more, you know? I live my life, it's funny, Rockstar University, but I do live my life like that. I live, my life is through music. Everything I do, I think I'm plugged in 24/7. I'm always thinking about music, and if it's not rock and roll or blues, because those are my main influences, and all the rock guys that I listened to growing up was all about, you know, the roots, all the English great rock singers and all the, you know, from the Stones and Zeppelin and Beatles, and everybody listened to Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Willie Dixon, and they borrowed that stuff and they kind of formed their own amalgamation of it, and, you know, and that's what my whole idea is, to take all of my influences and form my own thing, even though you're going to see, you know, influence from this and that. You want to be yourself, you know. You want to do your own thing, and you want to run with it.
And you have found that.
I'm working on it. I don't think it's ever. I always think it's a work in progress.
Yeah, ongoing till our last breath.
That's right. Yeah, as an artist, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I know that how important the arts are, and music is something that, no matter what mood you're in, you know, I know for myself. Anyway, when I walk in and I hear you playing and I hear all the music going on, whatever I've been experiencing that day or recently, it changes, you know, and I just feel lifted. and excited
That's
and
awesome.
happy, you know.
That's awesome.
And I think
Yeah.
that's true for a lot of people. Some people enjoy it quietly. Some people have to
Right.
get up and dance. And you're also doing now Monday nights at Barmel is your duo, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a little bit more.
I call it Blue Monday because,
Blue
you know,
Monday. I
after
love
we've been
that.
playing all week, and I'd like to do we're doing an acoustic blues rock kind of thing, you know, and Ellen and I are working on original acoustic bluesy rock stuff, and always, and, you know, we do all kinds of other stuff too. And he's a great guitar player, plays all kinds of different stuff as far as classical and instrumental stuff also. So, and then we get into our fun stuff that make people, you know, dance and have fun and jiggle around.
Yeah.
You know, our Stevie Ray Vaughan and our Muddy Waters and stuff like that, which is great.
And you do it so well.
Thank you, honey. The
Always
spirit
enjoy.
is in the room. The most
Yeah.
spiritual human being that I know.
Oh, oh, gee, stop! Thank you.
Love
No,
you.
coming
That's
from you,
awesome.
that means a lot. And so, how do you feel that you are able now to influence some of the new musicians coming in, the young people? Because I know that we do live in a small pond here in
We do.
Monterey,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also international. We have people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I think that there are so many people being influenced by you. Well, in a good way. All that, all the experiences you've had from your roots to the wild and crazy times, to the slower, melodic and still wild and crazy, playing everywhere here in this area. So when I'm sure you have people coming to you, trying to talk to you, asking you about being a musician,
Yeah.
what would you say is your most important wisdom you want to convey to any artist in your process?
Well, being at the West End Festival before we started our show, it was interesting because I had Brandon Leonard's father come up to me, and he has a little duo called the Beetle Boys, and they're young,
right,
you know,
Beetle
they're
Boys.
very young, 21-year-old boys and
Yeah.
kids. I call them from Convention. And they're great. I mean, they are fun. They're exciting. I love to watch the looks on people's faces.
Yeah.
Older people that when they walk by and they see these kids
Yeah,
playing the Beatles, you know, I mean,
they're awesome.
just it makes them happy. I saw a guy, they were playing outside Islamic Flies. The first time I ever saw the kids play. My good friend Kevin Padilla Yeti in the Yeti Fest, famous around Monterey Bay. He says, "You got to come see these kids. Yeah, they're just raking it in, and they sound great." And so we went outside on break, and I saw them, and I was just like, "Wow, you guys are great," you know. So meeting the parents, and the parents coming up to you and saying thank you for the support, and
Right.
and thank you for for everything you do, and it's great because we have a festival we're going to be doing this coming Sunday out at McAlpine Lake. It's a little lake right there off of 129 between San Juan Bautista and
It's a
Watsonville.
festival? Music
Yeah, we're
festival?
doing a little festival. It's called Rock On Demand with Troy Oshann and friends, and
Really?
we got a lot of people coming. I got
Wow.
Dan Frechette from Santa Cruz, who there's another guy. You know, what a talented guy. I saw him the other night over at the pub, and he's playing all kinds of great classic acoustic stuff, blowing harmonica and slide blues, and we've got a great talent. And there's so many talented people around here.
There really
Dennis
are.
Murphy has a school of music.
Right.
He's a great musician, and all the guys that he plays with are great. And Sam Martinez has his school of rock over in Salinas, and I do benefits over there every year. Like around Thanksgiving, we play at the church for all feed the homeless, and and he brings some of his students. And there's a lot going on. The Fox Theater is trying to make it really a go out of it, and
In Salinas?
yeah, they've had their ups and downs, and with the city, of course, it's always about permits and things like that. But we won't get into that. It's
No.
more about the music. So,
Yeah.
but Anthony Lane, I've known him for
Right.
years and did a lot of opening shows for great acts over there. And like speaking of influences, Pat Travers, playing with him a bunch, and him coming over and playing in Monterey and down in LA, I played with him a lot. And you know, influencing kids, turning them on to what you're into, and then kind of learning what they're about. You know,
Right.
I have a 20-year-old son, and he plays drums, and you know him from when he was a
believe
little
he's
tiny
20.
baby.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to go to Big Sur, and that's
Time
where.
goes fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's playing drums, and he's doing his own thing too. He records down in L.A. and lives with my brother and his wife down in Huntington Beach. But it's just amazing that all the different music that's out there, and you hear people say things like, "Oh, the music's not what it used to be," and it's not. It's not what it used to be. It is what it is. It is what it is now.
Right.
But you know, when they say that there's no good music anymore, I beg to differ. There's a lot of great music out there that maybe you should channel yourself into and not worry about.
Who do you think is some of your favorites contemporary?
Well, I just went a few weeks ago and saw Joe Bonamassa again, who I've always loved. When I got my good friend Eddie Gutierrez turned me on to him, gosh, 15, 20 years ago, and he started as a kid, and he's that blues rock thing. That's my forte. That's where I live. You know, blues can do a lot for your soul.
The blues make you happy.
Yeah,
it's kind
blues
of
can
ironic,
do a whole lot for your soul. It really.
Yeah.
You know, as a musician, you want to get deep. As a singer, you want to get deeper. As a drummer, maybe not. But you want to bang on things and keep rhythms and what have you.
But that's an important part of it, too.
It is. It's a very important part. Every aspect of.
And that's another thing, the collaboration. You know, I mean, you're the lead singer, but you also depend on when you're playing with the band. Everybody's
just
chiming in with their importance.
Heck yeah.
And
you want to raise
the
level and be right there, and want to, you know, mentioning the audience. You brought up being in the audience, and there's a place and time for everything, you know, being mellow and kicking it and all that good stuff. There's a place for it all.
I like I like a lot of the contemporary newer music, but the older music, though, it feels like home, like you can relate to it in a different way, and it very often it has such depth of meaning to it and everything. Well, my dear, I look forward to more and more inspiration and dance and hearing you, out and about. And how can we find out? You're on Facebook, Troy Oshann.
Of course, Troy Oshann on Facebook, and I post and
then your website.
And we have Blues at 11 website.
Right, Blues at 11.
Still going, and I'm working on my own right now too to get that all linked in. And my old rock bands, everything from Spiced Ice and Honey Hush, and
Honey Hush, I remember that.
Hush, yeah, Honey Hush is a really fun band.
Yeah,
really fun stuff for me.
Well, thank you, Troy.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Rock star.
Thank you so very much.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.